that you decided to box up some human ashes and send those to him. Where'd you get them?
They're a friend of mine that passed away.
How'd you get your friend's ashes?
His mother gave them to me.
In 2009, my wife and I went through a divorce. A couple of years later, I guess May of 2012, some friends of mine suggested that I try online dating. I was going through online profiles and I came across a young lady that really stood out for me. Megan seemed like a nice girl and she was very beautiful. She was a pediatric oncology nurse at Orange County Children's Hospital, and we began chatting online and eventually went to telephone and text and then to calls. And about 2 weeks later, we set up a date to meet, and my birthday, June 15th, that was going to be our first date. The morning of June 15th, she called me and she told me that she'd been diagnosed with leukemia. She had two brothers, Matt and Mark, and they began texting me when Megan got sick and was in the hospital. She got worse, and eventually her brother, Matt, texted me and said, if you have anything to say to her, you better say it because she's not going to be with us much longer. Within about 2 hours, I got word that she did not make it. After Megan died, the first thing that I received was a journal that was found in Megan's hospital room, and it had a lot about me in it, and so they wanted me to have it. She had also written a final letter to me and a final letter to Allie, her best friend. I got a text from Allie that said, Bart, this is Allie. I know you're not okay. And we texted and talked on the phone. Allie was great. Allie was like the best friend you can imagine. She really helped me through Megan's. There was no funeral. They had her body cremated, and I certainly would not ask for any of the ashes, but months later I was offered some. It was a small bag, and I had it at my house. I was so excited about this person and meeting her and this really sweet girl, and all of a sudden she just died and was gone just like that.
Well, and of course, we are all sorry for his loss, but with his friend Allie by his side, encouraging him to find love again, Bart did eventually get back online, and he met a new woman named Allison. Now, she was a beautiful brunette with a dangerous job as a DEA agent.
Weeks later, Allie said, you need to move on with your life. Megan doesn't want you to sit around and mourn. So I turned on my profile. There was a girl that pursued me, this absolute gorgeous girl named Allison. She was from Burbank, California. She worked for the agency as a special agent, did a lot of undercover stuff, and man, we just hit it off. Most of our conversations were text, email, occasional phone call. We eventually worked out our schedule to where we would be able to meet, and something always happened. She said that she was testifying at a trial in Chicago for some people that they had arrested a while back, and while she was there testifying, she was going to go under protection with the U.S. Marshal Service. We'd have to disappear for a while until it was safe. January 13th of this year, I was contacted by her partner, RJ, who I'd heard her talk about many, many times. He contacted me and said, Allison's been hurt. Said she was found this morning in a town called Riverbend, Alaska, and they held her for about 5 hours. She has broken van, and she's in the hospital right now in ICU. When she was finally discharged, RJ, her partner, confessed to her that he had kind of been a rogue DEA agent. He said that Allison could testify against him and he needed her to disappear. She escaped from this, and in the process of her escaping, she got I got contacted by a lieutenant. I was told she began hemorrhaging and eventually lost so much blood, and she got, again, completely devastated. I've lost 2 women in my life in literally less than a year.
So obviously a very difficult year for Bart, until he miraculously found out that Allison was in fact still alive after her boss, Lieutenant Travis, notified Bart of the miracle through a text message.
I thought, this has to be a cruel joke. I mean, I can't believe she's alive. If she's alive, I would have heard from her, right? Finally, the next day, I got not only a text, I got a phone call. I even asked for a picture. I asked Allison specifically, send me a picture of yourself, and she did. She sent me a picture of her sitting up in the hospital bed, giving me a thumbs up, showing me she was okay. That's when I realized she's still alive. This is not a joke. It's going to be transferred a few days later, and she was going to fly on a medical flight to Walter Reed Hospital in Maryland. I guess the fatal mistake finally happened. I'm very into flying. I love airplanes. And I asked her, is there any way you can take your phone and snap a picture of the plane? It's a military flight. It's cool. So she did. She took about 3 or 4 pictures and texted them to me. The first one looked completely normal, no problems. The second one was an inside shot. Looked a little weird because it didn't match up to what the outside of the aircraft was. So I took it and reverse Google image searched it. And when I did, I found that all of the photos were fake. I mean, they weren't taken by her. So the more I thought about it, I began thinking, well, I wonder if she lied to me once, what else could she have lied about? So I began reverse Google image searching every single image Allison ever sent me. And all of the images of her, I didn't find anything. Everything was legitimate. But some of the travel pictures that she'd sent me when she was always taking pictures, they were all fake. I went to see my friend Allie. I took her to dinner that night, and upon dropping her off at her place, I noticed that she'd left her car keys in my car. I picked up her car keys and I looked, and there was a library card on it with the name Jean, not Allie. And that's when I realized Allie was also lying to me.
All right, so what the hell's going on here? Remember, we had Megan who dies within weeks of meeting Bart. He says, all right, he steps in there and finds love again with the DEA agent, Allison. Remember, but then she came back to life. Here's what happens next.
The fear came in when I didn't fully know what was going on. When I first started realizing that Jean had lied to me, I didn't know what her motives were. To show you the great lengths that Jean went to fool me, while Allison was in the hospital, Jean actually had to have a fake bracelet made with my name and number on it, photograph it on her or some girl's arm, and send it to me. I mean, the details that she went to was absolutely crazy. This person has stayed in my house. She stayed in my parents' house. She's actually helped take care of my children before. I mean, it really is sick. I don't fully understand why she did this. I would like to get to the bottom of that. You know, what was her reasoning? What would cause a person to do something like this? If she really liked me, if I was really her friend and she wanted to be my friend, why would she watch me suffer like that? I don't understand what the sick thrill would be to control life and life. That's twisted.
You really did have a bad year.
Absolutely. It was horrible. I withdrew. I never thought I could fall for something like this.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
In fact, let's take a look at this. We have Jean.
Yes.
And Jean actually made up Megan. Just out of
absolutely.
whole cloth.
Completely made up.
All right, but then when she does bite the dust, then Allie comes on the scene to comfort you.
I trusted her completely from the moment she called and texted me because Megan had what a good person she was.
Yeah, and not knowing that it was Jean and Jean had created her.
Not at all.
Okay, then you get this email from Allison.
Yeah, and who wouldn't respond to that?
Well,
I saw those
sure.
eyes and I'm like, wow,
Yeah. Then she starts talking.
Yes.
So then you find out that Megan is really Danielle, and you find out that Allison is really Amanda.
Yes.
Okay, now what you guys may not know is that there is a connection between these girls and this girl. But what is it?
You don't know how shocked I was when I started finding out the truth.
Okay, and then now there's a backstory for Megan. We're talking about details here. She sent Bart pictures of hospital in her hospital room.
Absolutely. Her brother was having to leave the hospital. I didn't want her to be there alone, and I said, it's kind of awkward meeting at a hospital, but I cleared my schedule. I have a heart. I'm a nice guy, and I said I booked a flight to Cleveland, Ohio, hotel room, rental car, paid for it all. The night before I was to fly out, that's when she died.
From leukemia.
Yeah.
Her brother sent Bart Megan's jewelry and ashes from her cremation.
Months later, yes. They're real human ashes.
That's kind of creepy.
Yeah. You think?
So then we get to Allison.
Yeah.
There's a complex backstory for her. Under 24-hour, 7-day-a-week supervision by DEA agent Sarah, who reaches out to you.
Yeah. Allison had been was a DEA agent. She testified in Chicago. They put out a hit on her life, and so the U.S. Marshal Service was protecting her, and that's why I couldn't see her. She was in protection being hidden.
So April 2013, she's forced into hiding in the Netherlands after her partner RJ at the DEA went rogue. She arrives in the Netherlands. She's numb and dazed. She's nightly for days.
So like 7 days, yeah.
trying to escape the Netherlands. Then on June 7th, she had to have her leg amputated, and so then June 10th, she's found alive because the hospital had one of those darn mix-ups. They had confused her with another guy.
But in between those 3 days, I picked out a casket, I made funeral arrangements. I mean, I'm planning a funeral for this girl.
So who does this kind of thing? What kind of person would go to such great lengths to break Bart's heart? Not once, but twice. Well, you know what? She's here.
I still have unanswered questions. Whose ashes were those? Whose human ashes did I have in my house? How did Jean communicate with me as these other people when she was sitting right in front of me? What was her reason for causing some of these? I've been lied to so much, it's hard to know what's real and what's not.
Well, Bart claims he was catfished by a woman he did not know. So who is this woman that lured Bart into this warped and twisted love trap? Well, we're about to find out. Take a look.
My name is Jeannie. I've been married for 7 years. I have a 4-year-old son, and I'm an EMT student and a stay-at-home mom. I did all this because I was just looking for connection, for friendship, and something to do. I was bored. I picked Danielle and Amanda because they were just really pretty. They are just gorgeous girls, and that's what gets attention, you know. I was pretending to be Megan. I did start to feel like this guy is a really nice guy, and I don't want to hurt him, and obviously what I'm doing is wrong. When Bart started getting intense, it was scary because that's when I started to panic, and about 2 weeks into our connection, I told him that Megan had cancer. I was trying to give myself an out. I didn't realize how connected he was to her. After I let Megan, he was devastated. He was just really crushed. And so I made up another character named Allie. And that character was completely me, and I was just trying to be there for him. I did enjoy aspects of it because I did have something to do and I had that connection. Other parts I didn't enjoy because I knew I was lying to my husband and I knew that I was hurting people, and to his son as well because his son had talked to Megan a little bit. I created Allison. I basically made her his dream girl. Everything that he liked that we had talked about, things that he had said he wanted in a girl, that's what I used to create that profile. I read a lot of books, crime novels, and all that kind of stuff. I got really creative with Allison as far as her career. And Allison couldn't meet with him because she was a federal agent and she had to go for training. She was on missions. She had to testify in some case and they had to put her in witness protection. She got beat. She lost her leg, just all sorts of really outrageous stories. It would explain why he couldn't see her in person. Eventually, Bart figured everything out. I feel embarrassed. I feel guilty. If Bart was here, I would tell him that I'm really sorry.
Okay, what the hell were you thinking? What the hell were you thinking to play with somebody's life like this?
I never had the intention of doing this, of making anything like this big. I was bored and I was a stay-at-home mom looking for connection with people. My husband and I were having issues.
But you didn't do this once, you didn't do this twice, you did this 3 times. So if you thought, whoa, I never expected it to get that big, you could have just moonwalked right out of this deal and been gone. But you didn't. You knew it was huge.
Yes, absolutely, you're right. And I was embarrassed, and I didn't want to admit things. I didn't want to admit that I was doing something wrong.
But then you just quit, right? I mean, you can just quit. After the first one, you do Megan, and you go, whoa, that got a lot deeper than I thought. This man is hurting here.
And that's why I went further, because he was hurting so bad, and I was trying to make him feel better.
You went further because you liked the attention.
I did like the
attention. And so you fed on it, right?
Absolutely, yes.
And so you created how did you keep it straight? Seriously, did you have a chart?
No, I had a very hard time keeping it straight. Absolutely, I did.
Take me through the moment that you decided to box up some human ashes and send those to him.
I had...
Where'd you get them?
They're a friend of mine that passed away.
How did you get your friend's ashes?
His mother gave them to me.
The mother gives you the ashes. Mm-hmm. And you think, well, I can put these to good use. You just put some in you just put some in a Ziploc, or how did you do it?
I just, all of them. There wasn't very much, and
How'd you contain them? What'd you put them in?
they're in a bag. That's what they come
kind
in.
of bag?
It's like a plastic bag. Nothing. It's
Like
not
a Ziploc?
No, it's not a
They were in a
Ziploc
plastic
bag.
bag,
It's like
and they
a
were
plastic
placed in a
bag.
martini shaker, and I took it to my place, and I left it in my room, and it was 5 feet from my bed. I slept several nights with it there before
How do you feel about that now, what he's just saying?
I'm horrified.
He went through a grieving process for your entertainment. You said you were bored and lonely, right? You wanted to have, and so you wanted to salve your boredom and
instead of
loneliness.
just stopping and taking responsibility for what I was doing and admitting what I was doing, telling him the truth, I put him through this, absolutely, and I'm wrong. I feel like a horrible person for doing this. I really do.
You felt so horrible that you did it twice more?
Absolutely. Yeah, I kept going.
What was your payoff for going forward?
I was getting the attention that I needed, and I was trying to help Bart in a way. I felt like I was helping him.
Do you know how many women I missed out on dating? There could have been something there.
And there were so many times, Bart, that you talked to me as Allie, and you said, I can't deal with this anymore. Excuse my language. And I told you, you need to go. You need to move on, and you need to.
But I was
and
so
I tried to cut
emotionally
you off
involved, and I
from
would
there,
have
and-
cut. I would have
Are you
stopped.
criticizing
No,
him
absolutely
for,
not. No.
for hanging
No,
in
I'm
there
not.
after
I'm not.
you brutalized him emotionally?
I am not. I was wrong. I am wrong. I know that. What I did was wrong, and I'm not trying to put anything back on you. Everything that I did was wrong, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Jeannie pretended to be Megan's brother and sent Bart a journal that they claimed was Megan's before she died. And here's an excerpt. Don't feel good. Yuck. But at least no chemo today. Last night I vomited a lot of blood. I'm a little worried. Having some breathing trouble. Bart will be here Tuesday evening. I'm so excited to see his arms around me. You remember getting that?
Broke my heart. Yeah, absolutely broke my heart.
Tell me again why after Megan that you created Allie.
I felt bad that he was just on his own, and I was just trying to be his friend.
Next, Jeannie says she not only lied to Bart, but also her husband, who does not know the real reason she flew to Los Angeles, which was to appear on the show. She claims she wants tips from me on how to break the news to him when she returns home. But the real questions are, why does Jeannie create elaborate lies, and will she ever stop? Does your husband know about this?
No.
Why does he think you're here today?
He thinks I'm here to see a friend.
Well, he doesn't even know you're on the Dr.
No,
Phil
he
show.
doesn't. No.
I was just curious to see if you'd learned your lesson and decided to stop using deception in your life. But this marriage that you say is a 7 out of 10, you've now deceived your husband.
Yeah.
I don't know if he watches the Dr. Phil show, but I got a fair chance he probably knows somebody who does, or
Yeah.
somebody whose wife does. Somebody's going to watch this and say, by the way.
I'm going to talk to him about it. Yeah, absolutely. But
He has no idea.
no, he doesn't.
Because you basically had an emotional affair
Yeah.
under an assumed name 3 times with this gentleman.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's cheating in my book.
So 3 times you've had emotional affairs with her
Yeah.
using assumed names.
Yeah.
You little it's just crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Well, you must have 180 IQ to have cracked this. Seriously, you gave this. You were
spent a
smart.
lot of-
you
I spent a
you
lot
got
of
a
money.
thread, and
Yeah.
you just kept pulling until you got to the answer.
I flew all over the United States. I literally cleared my schedule when I just started unraveling. I flew to several places in the United States, and I was determined. If it was the last thing I did, I was going to get to the bottom of this. I was going to see who's real, who's not, and what's going on.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
How many times have you or are you doing this with others right now?
I'm not doing this with anybody else. I talked to several guys
Jeannie.
before Bart.
Jeannie,
What?
you've not used fake pictures before. You've not tried to engage with other guys
No.
before. So we just happened to catch you on the first one.
There were many before Bart that I talked to.
Did you use fake pictures with them?
Yes.
Because I
did.
just asked you and you
Absolutely.
said
I'm
no.
sorry.
Now
I
you're
thought
saying
you meant-
yes.
Dr. Phil, I thought you meant now, after this whole thing is blown up. That's what I
So
understood.
before this,
yes.
you used
and
fake
it was
pictures.
the same stuff, the same profiles, the same pictures.
Wow. Well, you know what's coming up next after the break? You are going to love this. The real women behind the pictures of Megan and Allison are here.
Megan was a girl named Danielle. I knew her vaguely from high school. And then Amanda was Allison. I knew her from high school as well. It's been almost 10 years since I've seen either one of those girls.
Well, that was Jeannie, who admits to using the Facebook pictures of two former high school classmates to catfish Bart, a man she met on an online dating site. Now, Jeannie created a character named Megan, and to do it, she used former classmate Danielle, a girl she went to high school with. Here's what Danielle has to say about all this.
My name is Daniela. My photo was stolen and used to create an online profile of a person named Megan. It was a little awkward knowing that someone was in love with a person who they'd never actually met. I feel sorry for Bart because his heart was taken advantage of. I mean, he's a very nice person and he just had the best intentions and this person completely just broke his heart. I believe that Jean does have a few mental health issues. If she can so easily do this, I mean, she had the opportunity to leave it after Megan's death, yet she continued to do it and reopen more accounts so she could still keep in contact with Bart. I mean, at that point, enough is enough. She should have realized, hey, this is not okay, I should stop this here. And that filter for her, it seems like it's gone.
This has got to be so surreal for you because this man lovingly grieved your tragic.
I know.
He slept with your ashes on his nightstand.
Not cuddling.
No, I said on your nightstand.
Make that clear.
And now to see this woman that you were so invested in, you have to tell me what you're thinking right now.
Well, right now I'm okay because Danielle and I have become friends from this whole thing. But when I first met her, when she didn't know I was going to meet her. I just walked in. Literally, I found out where she worked because I didn't know if she was involved in this somehow. I didn't know what the truth was. So I had to get to the truth. I found out where she worked at, and I went to that city, and I literally showed up at her workplace, and I knew that if she was guilty, when she saw me and looked me in the eye, that she was going to like freak out or something. But she had a blank look. She's like, hi, how can I help you? And I said, we need to talk.
You went to high school together, but you don't remember her at all.
I don't.
What do you have to say to her?
I just want to know why you chose my picture, why you chose to. I mean, there's really personal pictures, like my one with my grandmother and my cousins. That's the last time I saw my grandma. I can't even look at the picture without crying.
I'm sorry.
I mean, that's a huge issue for me. Like, you know, why would you use me?
You were pretty, and your picture was just there. Facebook kept telling me I should be friends with you because we went to the same high school, and that was that.
Did you hear her say before you came out that she sent your picture, she used your picture before this?
Yeah, that was actually the first time I've heard that, which I'm not very pleased about, that I have to say.
Yeah, I know.
What do you say to her?
The only thing I can say is sorry. I'm sorry.
Which...
Up next, we'll meet the other woman in this love triangle, Allison, whose real name is Amanda. She does know Jeannie and has a few things to say to her. You mentioned Amanda. Well, she was Jeannie's other classmate, and she is also here, and here's what she has to say.
First meeting with Bart, I was nervous. Obviously, I've never met this person. The whole situation is just crazy to me. He was very emotional and he couldn't look at me in the eye because he was in love with this person. And to like meet me and I don't even know who he is, I mean, it has to be just weird. What's sick, I mean, is Bart was devastated because of this, was in love with this person, and Allison and Jean flew all the way from where she's living to comfort him, and she's standing there rubbing his back over this person who, it's just crazy. I think Jean likes the drama as far as so many stories. I'm angry that she involved my twin brother Brady in this story, especially having him. That's what hurt me more than anything.
What do you say about all of this?
I just feel violated. I mean, he has hundreds of pictures of me. And I think what hurts me is, you know, I knew her in high school. We were friends, we were acquaintances. I just feel violated. I feel like my identity has been stolen. And then to hear that other people have seen these photos, I just feel like, exposed, embarrassed. It was just.
How do you feel about that?
I feel terrible. I mean, what I did was wrong, and I know that, and I feel awful that I put everybody through this.
Why did you want to be here today? Why did you agree to come today?
Because I want to take responsibility for what I did. I owe it to these 3 people and more people to be here and tell the truth.
Yeah. And do you get that your reasoning and your problem solving here? You said, I was lonely, I was bored, I didn't have connection with people, that this was a really dysfunctional way
Absolutely.
to meet those needs.
Absolutely.
You say you're getting professional help,
Yes.
true?
Mm-hmm.
And is it helping you?
It is, absolutely.
And-
That's why I'm here, because I'm taking responsibility for my actions.
And I hope you use this as a watershed event to move forward in your life. And, you know, if you get bored, get a hobby.
I know.
Do something, but don't use other people and their lives to do that. I mean, that's a cruel
I know.
thing. And yeah, I do believe at one point you didn't think through how far and what impact this would have on people. But fortunately, nobody got
That's the good news.
bankrupt.
That's the good news.
Really, I mean, yeah, it's like life looks better again.
Had a friend said you can either let this make you bitter or better, and we are choosing to let it make us better.
Yeah,
So.
exactly. Well, I hope you do the same thing.
I feel terrible for all the victims in this situation. I especially feel terrible for Bart. He seems like such a kind, upstanding man. You know, he seems like he has a really good, strong character. Even at the end, he wasn't just filled with anger and bitterness. He said he was going to use it to create positive change in his life. He seems like a really kind, optimistic type of man who did not deserve to be treated like this. It's terrible that he went through the grieving process twice for 2 separate women, except with the last woman, she magically came back to life. With the first woman, with Megan, he was sent her ashes. It's crazy to me that Jean sent him the remains of her friend, ashes that her friend's mother gave her. Is that like a form of desecration or something? It feels like it. It feels like she her friend. I feel terrible for the women whose images were used. You know, they said that they feel exposed, and I absolutely understand why they would. Of course they would. With Jean, yeah, she definitely has some severe mental health struggles. I am happy to hear that she is getting therapy because she definitely needs it. I will say I'll give her credit for having the self-awareness to acknowledge and admit this, and for having the willingness to come on the show and face everyone and apologize in person. However, she's still not being completely honest, right? Because her husband has no clue about this. She really infiltrated Bart's life in a way that's just so sick, and she kind of infiltrated the lives of her former high school classmates as well. One of them doesn't even remember her. I will say she is pretty creative, and I think if she had just funneled her energy and focus into writing books, the same type of books that she reads, she probably could have done well in that lane. She could have found a lane for her writing these stories, because, you know, the Allison DEA agent saga, that was pretty good. I would read it. you know? It was pretty captivating. So if she just wrote fiction novels about true crime and romance and whatever, like, she'd probably make a lot of money, have some notoriety, and get that attention that she so desperately craves. But first, she's gonna need to figure out how to create that comforting feeling inside of herself. She's gonna need to love herself from within first, before she can ever do anything out in the world. Because true love is internal, not external. So you guys, let me know what you think about this. Y'all feel bad for Bart? I do. I hope this man finds someone. Wouldn't it be nice if he ends up dating one of these women? You know, he became friends with Danielle, the fake Megan. What if a romance happened? What do you think should happen with Jean? What do you think is gonna happen when she gets home and tells her husband and he watches the show? I don't know if there's any update on this, but y'all let me know what you think. Drop it in the comments.